Hey everyone, welcome back. Doing a bit of a different video this time. I kind of wanted to take a break from the whole doing a specific build thing, and we're really more of just experimenting with this video here. And I want to do more of these experimentation videos in the future because doing just the build videos, well, one, I run out of builds to do, and two, it gets kind of boring after a while because it's like the exact same format of me saying the exact same things. So this is going to help spice up some of the content on the channel a bit. So we're going to be messing around with this HP small form factor PC with a Pentium 4. We'll go more into the specs in a little bit. I believe this is from 2005. The exact model number is the HP Compact DC7100 small form factor. And yes, it is compact, spelled as in the company name. That was after HP bought Compaq. I believe that would have been a pretty recent acquisition for them at the time. I don't remember when they bought Compaq, but it's kind of right around then. Which is a shame because I actually liked Compaq, and, well, I have mixed feelings on HP. Let's just say this is the only working HP machine I have. Anyways, so detailed specs of this right now is an Intel Pentium 4 with hyperthreading running at 3.2 gigahertz. That would be the Prescott core. This is a socket 775 system. It's got a gig of, I believe it's just DDR1. DDR1 RAM. I believe it's in dual channel. Although I'm not entirely sure, but you know. We got Intel GMA integrated graphics. I don't really know anything about them. I don't know the specific model number. I believe this is the 915 chipset. But other than that, I don't really know anything about the graphics. And we got an 80 gig SATA hard drive, which has Windows XP on it, and I believe 240 watt power supply. And then we also got a DVD burner and a floppy drive, or at least I think it's a DVD burner. It is a DVD burner. It's a DVD RW drive. That's cool. So we're actually going to open this up here. And this actually has two XP product keys on it for some reason. It's got the one that came with the machine, and then it's got this Windows XP Pro for refurbished PCs. I don't know why you would get a second product key when yours is right there. Like, what? Why would you get a second product key? If it had to be refurbished, you just install Windows and use the product key that the machine came with. So somebody spent apparently extra money on a Windows license that they didn't need to. Anyways, so the way you open this machine is there are these little buttons on each side, and it's kind of annoying to open it up because getting these buttons to actually work is, well, easier said than done. I might have to pull this off camera. Sometimes lifting the machine up top like this helps. Oh, I felt something move. Hold on, I'll be back after I've taken this off. I have successfully removed the top. I actually pushed it in more and then pulled it out, and then it worked. So it's pretty accessible to get into, assuming you can actually get the buttons to work. So this is the inside of it. We got the power supply right here, which is, yeah, a little proprietary. And the hard drive's just kind of wedged down in there. Like, it's not actually on a bracket. I don't know if there's supposed to be something that goes there, or if I'm supposed to put screws in there or something, but this is just like friction fit in there. So hope that's fine. And the power supply, when I say it's proprietary, I mean like the shape's proprietary. The connector has this like mini 20-pin connector on it, and this like weird 6-pin, I guess, CPU connector. It's like, power supply is proprietary. There's no way we can replace that as far as I know. We got our two RAM sticks down in here, which I believe, if I take one of these out, I believe this is actually Dell RAM. Yeah. This is Dell RAM, which is kind of funny. I don't know why there's Dell RAM in here. I guess somebody put Dell RAM in here at one point. I believe both sticks are Dell RAM, which is also quite strange. That's not going in now. Do I have to flip it around again? Where's the notch? Oh. Oh, okay. Well, I wasn't lining up the notch right. It's late. This is actually filmed at night. It's like 10 o'clock. Here's our CPU cooler. Quite small for a 3.2 gigahertz Pentium 4. It does have copper heat pipes, though. I'm sure if it did not have those, this heatsink would not work. It's got a fan here. It's got another fan right here, which is intake. And then it's got that for some reason. I don't know why, but it does. This machine is actually pretty quiet. Unless you really stress it out and then both fans ramp up and it's a little noisy, but not unbearable. And for I/O, or I/O expansion, I actually have a PCI Express 1X slot, a 16X slot, and 2 PCI slots. So we do have potential to upgrade it, which is kind of the whole point of this video, and you probably saw it in the title. First of all, let's take a look at the back here for our actual I/O. Got a, I think it's just 100 megabit Ethernet, 6 USB 2.0 ports, the VGA, parallel, serial, 2 PS2, and audio in and out. And that's it for the back. But yes, that PCI Express slot is going to be useful because that means we can put a low-profile graphics card in here, which is going to be tricky because we only have a 240-watt power supply. So we gotta have something that's low-profile, uses like little to no power, and will give us decent enough performance. So, but first, before we do that, I kind of want to see what the machine can do. We kind of want to see what the machine can do before we upgrade the graphics. So we're going to run some benchmarks, run some games, just kind of see what the machine's really capable of. So we're going to close this back up. Which, and closing it up is a lot easier because you just kind of snap it shut until they both click. There you go. There's actually a little lock back here, so you can put a padlock on there or some other lock. And yeah, because this is meant for businesses, so you can have this set up. You can have like a bunch of these set up in a business, and you'd probably run some sort of cable or chain through them, then lock them all together so somebody can't steal the computer very easily or open it and steal the components out of it. So there we go. So we're gonna hook it up and run some benchmarks with the integrated graphics and also see what the CPU and stuff can do. Okay, we got the computer set up here with a Dell monitor on top of it because I do have an HP monitor, but I don't have the power supply for it, so we're using a Dell monitor. So we're gonna zoom in here and get this machine started up. Another nice thing about this computer that you'll probably end up hearing later is that it actually has a built-in speaker that's actually really loud. So it plays PC speaker sounds and normal audio sounds through it as well, and it's located right in the front of the computer, and it gets really loud too. So we're booting up XP here, XP Pro Service Pack 3. Nothing too out of the ordinary. And this monitor is, this monitor is 1280 by 800, so it's a 5x4 monitor. It's telling me about some other graphics drivers. If you saw that there, ATI Catalyst, little hint at what graphics card I might have picked out already, because I have already pre-tested a lot of this stuff. Seem to be waiting for this to go away. Well, I didn't say it was fast, although this is a little concerning. Well, you know, let's see. So what's running in the background? Well, apparently we're not using a lot of CPU, so I guess this is just, you know, stuck there. Well, yeah, it doesn't even show it in applications. Well, you know, just happens there. Pressed F5 and it refreshed the desktop. We're going to go ahead and run a couple benchmarks. First off, we're going to run Cinebench 2003. I do believe I have this on here. Oh, I might not. Hold on. I might have to go get my flash drive that has it on it. Yep, gonna have to go get my flash drive. I'll be right back. Alright. I am back. I have grabbed the flash drive, and I forgot to show off the front panel I/O. We have a headphone, microphone jack, and 2 more USB 2.0 ports on the front there, so that's quite handy. Alright, so we're gonna run Cinebench 2003. That'll test CPU and video, so we're gonna start all the tests here, and we'll come back once this is done running, because this will take a few minutes. Okay, we're back, and Cinebench 2003 is completed running all the tests, and I'll put them up on screen in text so you can see them better. So we got 280 on the single-threaded and 337 on the multi-threaded for the CPU render test. So definitely not horrible, but definitely not amazing either. Also, these numbers don't correlate to like Cinebench R15, of course. I believe Cinebench R15 gives the CPU like a 50 or something, which is like absolutely abysmal. Not a very powerful CPU even for the time. Well, I mean, it was powerful, but AMD definitely had great competition at this time. So, and for C4D shading, we got a 361, OpenGL SWL as a 931, and OpenGL HWL is a 872. So, not entirely sure what those refer to. I mean, I know OpenGL. I'm assuming the SW and the HW are referring to software and hardware. And C4D shading, I don't know. I guess it's something to do with shaders, but yeah. Anyways, that's Cinebench. Next up, we got 3D Mark 2001 SE, which we go ahead and benchmark. So right off the bat, for integrated graphics, not bad. I mean, this is a 2001 benchmark. These are like 2005 integrated graphics, but hey, not too bad of an FPS. But this is the low graphics test. But hey, I believe it actually stayed above 60 FPS the whole time, which is kind of impressive. So I guess that means you could run like maybe some like late 98 era games or early XP games on here fairly well, although this test definitely is bringing the graphics to its knees, staying in the 20s a lot of the time. Yeah, so it definitely struggles, but this is from the era when integrated graphics were very bad, and they were pretty much only meant to display 2D stuff and like do 3D like acceleration in like Windows, and not really meant for like intense 3D like games and other applications. So we're gonna let the test finish, and we'll come back once it's done. All right, 3D Mark 2001 is finished, and it gave us a score of 5,550, which is not too bad, actually. I think that's above a GeForce 2 in terms of performance, so, you know, that's something it's got going for it. As for other... Well, we do have other artificial benchmarks, like I think I have Yeah, 3D Mark 03 and 05, but, you know, I kind of don't want to run them right now. Because it's just going to... We're just going to take time. We know the onboard graphics aren't going to perform that well. So I actually do have MSI Afterburner on here, so we can take a look at our frame rate and stuff. So we're going to look at Half-Life 2 here first. And I'm actually going to go ahead and change something in Afterburner, because I wanted to change something so we get a little more details. Okay, so I went ahead and changed what I wanted displayed up here. I wanted to show the average and 1% and 0.1% lows. Apparently it didn't do that. Might be because of the onboard graphics. It might not be able to do that for some reason. I don't know. Like, we can't see GPU usage or anything like that. Onboard graphics can't display that because they're so old. And the volume's probably going to be a little loud. Turn that down. Okay, so going into the settings here, I'm going to turn everything to low. And so this is the latest Steam version of the game, or at least I think it's the latest update. I don't know. But yeah, this isn't running on Steam. This is just the contents of the game. Just basically just ripped off my main PC. Because Half-Life 2, Portal 1, and a couple other games from Valve, and a lot of other games as well, actually don't require Steam to run. So you can actually just take them right out of their... You can basically just copy the directory that they're in and basically play them on any computer without needing Steam. So that's why I'm able to run this on XP, because Steam no longer works on XP. So yeah, 640 by 480, lowest settings. It's loading stuff right now. Wow, it is taking a long time to load. We're not actually getting that much hard disk activity. So this might just be taking it a long time to initialize the hardware, I guess. Oh, that's something. There we go. Wow, 68 FPS on 2D text. So we're just going to be gauging performance based off the intro here. So 640 by 480 lowest settings, we're getting like... Oh, well, I spoke too soon. I was like, oh wow, we're actually getting like 50 FPS. Nope, we're getting 9 FPS now. I was about to say, it didn't look too bad either. It actually doesn't look too bad on the lowest settings. Kind of looks like the original Xbox version, actually. Which makes a lot of sense. You know. Because I believe the original Xbox version is 480p. Yeah, I'm gonna wake up and smell the ashes of my integrated graphics on fire. Like, this is killing my integrated graphics right now. Like, look at this. 10, 9 FPS, 11. Let's see if we look at the ground. Get 19 FPS. Important to note, we are actually hitting pretty high on our CPU usage as well. So our CPU could end up being a bottleneck for our dedicated graphics card later on. But still, I don't think that this is really... I don't think the CPU is really that much of a bottleneck right now. Definitely the onboard graphics are. I mean, right here it's like 29, 30 FPS, so it's like almost kind of playable. Kinda, but then again, it's just like not most of the time. So like here it's like 28. Yeah, we're in the 20s. So yeah, Half-Life 2 on this graphics onboard graphics. Definitely is not a amazing experience. You'd be much better off trying to find something else to play this on. You'd be better off playing this on the original Xbox. It would have more consistent performance, probably. It's the Half-Life 2 port on the original Xbox, and whoa. Yeah, it actually just like fully locked up for like a second there. That was a big stutter. But yeah. The original Xbox version of Half-Life 2 is just like a technical marvel that they got it to work. Like, I don't know how they did it. But it's impressive. And it's impressive that it runs as well as it does. And it doesn't look half bad. Oh, look, it's Barney. Not the dinosaur. But Barney from Black Mesa. Barney. But yeah, so I think you got the idea. Half-Life 2 doesn't really run that great. I mean, it works, technically. Would I want to play it this way? No. Looks kind of bad. Not as worse as I was expecting, but looks kind of bad. Frame rate is all over the place. It's really not that good. Really not that good. I guess one other thing we're going to show off here really quick before we upgrade our graphics card is we're going to try and run Minecraft. Now, Minecraft is a very heavy on the CPU, not so much on the GPU, but even then, we are going to be bottlenecked by our onboard graphics, as we will see here. So we're going to play Minecraft 1.7.10, which is an older version, but it's a lighter weight version. As if you try to run the latest version, it really punishes old hardware pretty bad. So we're gonna go full screen here by pressing F11, and there we go. Old graphics card detected. Might prevent us from playing in the future. So video settings, 2 chunks. Let's actually turn all these graphics down. Particles, minimal. Yeah, had these all set up for when I was testing the dedicated GPU we're gonna have in here later. Yeah, I have this test map I already set up. You might want to pay attention to our CPU usage as well. It is going to be kind of high, but yeah. So I built this giant tower of TNT, which we're actually going to blow up once we get the dedicated graphics. But you know, it's not really that playable. Even though our CPU is getting pretty high up in utilization, we are being bottlenecked by the GPU, because I know that this computer can actually run this game a lot better. And I know Minecraft on a Pentium 4 is not really, you wouldn't really think of it as being super playable, but once we put in the dedicated graphics card, you'll be surprised by how well Minecraft can actually run on it. Granted, it is with low settings, but like a low render distance, but still. But yeah, kind of playable on here. It is definitely more playable than the computer I used to play Minecraft on back in the day. It's an old Intel Core Solo in a laptop, and due to the very bloated XP installation, it did not run very well, like at all. So it was like many times you were waiting several seconds for each next frame to render. So yeah, it was not a good. Well, I think we've seen enough of this integrated graphics struggle. Again, kind of impressive. I mean, it's not designed to play games in any capacity. It's meant for business work, essentially. So let's go ahead and tear this down and find out what graphics card we're going to put in it. Okay, so we got the computer opened back up again, and it's time to unveil the graphics card I've chosen. This is a low-profile version of the ATI or AMD, depending on what time era you're talking about. HD 5450, which most people will look at as a pretty crappy, not that great video card, and not really something you would intend for gaming. But this was around in like 2009, 2010. It stuck around for quite a while, actually. And it didn't do well playing games from that time, but doesn't mean it can't do older games better, which is exactly the point I bought it. The other reasons I bought it was because it was cheap. It was easily available in the low profile version. And by cheap, you can usually get them for like $10. I was actually able to get mine for $7 with free shipping, which is pretty nice. We got a DVI port and a DisplayPort connector on there, and a little fan. I forget how much memory is on this. I think it's 512 megs. Maybe it's a gig. I'm not entirely sure. But, yeah. And the other thing is that it is very low power consumption. I believe it's like 20 watts or something like that, which is good for our poor PSU over here. In fact, the PSU is a little warm, a little warmer than I would expect a PSU to normally be. In fact, to the touch, it feels warmer than the heatsink, which is a little scary. But yeah, I forgot to mention earlier, this computer was actually given to me by a friend. Gave it to me for free. I believe he said he paid $5 for it. So $5 for the computer, and then now $7 for the graphics card. It's $12, and you'll be surprised at the gaming performance we can get out of this. So to install a expansion card in here, all you have to do is like pull up on this tab, and this lifts out of the way. I already took the PCI bracket out. And then you just stick your card in like normal. Line it up with the slot. Press down on it. That's in there. And then you close the bracket and you're good to go. That's all you got to do. So now let's hook it back up and we'll see its performance once again. Alright, we got the computer back up with the HD 5450 installed. Actually, let's go ahead and check out how much video RAM we have with DX Diag, because I forgot the amount of video RAM we have. We have 512 megs. Okay, that's what I thought. So we're gonna go ahead and let Cinema. In fact, we're just gonna do the graphics ones. We're not gonna bother with the CPU renders again. So it doesn't look to be particularly better. In fact, it's actually frozen up here. That's not promising. Yikes. We're gonna let's pretend that didn't happen. Try that again. Hope it doesn't crash again. There we go. Well, now it seems to be working better. It's still not very fast. This might actually be rendering on the CPU. I'm not entirely sure. But yeah, we'll come back with the revised scores. Okay, we're back. So the C4D shading, that might have been a CPU test, but OpenGL SWL has a 1380, so that's way higher, and OpenGL HWL 3176, so that's a massive improvement in terms of performance. Now we're going to go ahead and run 3D Mark 2001 again, and see how much it has improved from our previous score. Alright, and we have a score of 16,643, so that is basically 3 times our score on the integrated graphics. Now, I'm sure this GPU can actually perform better than that. I just think that, our CPU is holding us back some. Load up Afterburner here, and now because we actually have dedicated graphics, I can actually overclock this. So This particular card doesn't overclock very far. We can only get 700 megahertz on the core as opposed to 650 and 900 on the memory, which, yeah, so the default speeds is 650 core, 800 memory. And then I was able to overclock those to the max of 700 and 900. Because I can't adjust core voltage or anything, which actually isn't that bad of a problem. Well, don't know why. I don't know why I said it's not that bad of a problem, but I don't know. My brain's weird. But yeah, it's still not displaying frame time and frame rate. I'd have to look into that. I am gonna look into that. Okay, so I looked into it. I can't get the 1% and 0.1% lows thing to show up, so yeah. So running at 1280 by 1024. We're gonna turn this up to high, reflect all, use bloom, I guess. Yeah. We're gonna leave the other stuff where it is. So we should be able to actually handle this pretty well. I know this can run in 720p pretty well. I think I actually ran it in 1080p. Or, no, I ran it in 1440p. Not 900p. 1440 by 900. There we go. Just use the resolution, the exact resolutions. Don't use the name. But yeah. So this is going to perform much, much better, as you will soon see once it loads. I've noticed the system's pretty low or slow on loading things. I guess that might just be the hard drive that's in there is not very good. Might not even be 7200 RPM. Might be like 5400. Not entirely sure. So we're getting like in the 40s, but keep in mind that this is on much higher settings and much higher resolution. So I'm going to turn down the graphics settings once we actually, well, you know what, I can actually do that right now. I'm going to turn down some of the graphics settings. Turn that down, turn off anti-aliasing. Yeah, leave that. Reflect world. I guess medium. Shader rate a little high. I think that's pretty respectable for a system like this. So mostly medium settings at 1280 by 1024. Should be able to run this pretty well. If it loads. God, this thing is so slow. There we go. Well, that didn't seem to help it much. We're still around 33 FPS. Well, that was a weird start. It might just be trying to load stuff in the background because it's being dumb. I know it can run better than this. I've seen it run better than this. Wow. Of course it's not going to perform well for the camera. Why is motion blur on? Ew, gross. No. Oh, I don't want the console. Why is motion blur on? Ew, gross. Do not like motion blur. Here, let's change the resolution down some. Put it at 1024 by 768. I can run. I've seen it run 720p, and I know it runs better. So 1280 by 1024 is higher than 720p. So let's see if we lower the resolution if we can get a better experience. And it's going to take 1,000,000 years to load because yay hard drive. I need to buy like a couple SSDs just to have lying around for testing purposes, because using hard drives is getting quite frustrating. now we're back. Okay, so right now we're in 1024 by 768 with our medium-ish settings and stuff, and well, our frame rate is a lot better now, much more playable. It's in the 50s at the worst, kinda. If you look over here at like it's more of a lower or less demanding scene, it's like in the 80s. Some of the weird stutters you get are from the CPU being maxed out. And it is also part of the problem. We are being CPU bottlenecked a little bit. Because if we actually look here at our GPU is only being used like 30% or so. And thank you for flashing me in the face. I appreciate that. But, yeah. But this is much more of a playable experience. I would say that Half-Life 2 is quite playable on this machine. A pretty good experience. Like, just as a reminder, like, you don't need to... Gee, I didn't mean to get close to you, dude. Like, you didn't have to hit me. But, like, you don't need 60 FPS to have a good, smooth gaming experience. You can be in the 40s and have a good, smooth, decent gaming experience. It's only once you get below 30 FPS or you start to get bad stuttering and stuff, which you do occasionally get on this computer because of just the CPU. But yeah, this is much better, looks much better, runs a lot better. It's a much more playable experience. It's definitely a huge step up over the integrated graphics, as you would expect, but considering that this was a $7 GPU, that's not too bad. So let's check out Minecraft again. And Minecraft does run a lot better. Okay, so we got back into Minecraft here. We can actually turn up all these settings here. Actually, still have a pretty good experience. So we can actually turn up like anisotropic filtering to the max. Particles we can make all. And we can't turn on, or we can't turn up the render distance really, because that's really CPU based. But now that a lot more load is being put on the graphics card than on the than just on the CPU, why did it not load? There we go. Okay, so it's not showing GPU utilization again for some reason, but as you can see by the frame rate, I do have VSync on, but we're getting 60s quite often, 40s and the 30s, but this is a much more playable experience with Minecraft. And again, Minecraft's not really an XP game. I just like to show it off for because it's easy to benchmark and you can get it to run on older operating systems fairly reliably. So, yeah, this runs pretty well. So why don't we say we blow up this tower here that I made? Took me like 10 minutes to build. So 3, 2, 1. Go down here and just watch our CPU utilization get maxed out. 2.1 FPS. Oh, this is epic. CPU's just maxed out the whole time. Okay, we're in the water now. Wow. That took a long time to blow up, but impressive. So it was able to handle that. I mean, well, handling it is a bit of a overstatement. I mean, it was at one FPS for like 10 seconds and completely maxed out our CPU, but hey, you know what? This is actually, I could play Minecraft like this. I would be comfortable with playing Minecraft like this. I mean, the console versions, at least the 7th gen console versions, run at like 30 FPS, so this is, on average, a better experience than that. Now, it is an older version of the game, but, I mean, I don't really care. I grew up with the older versions of Minecraft, so playing the newer ones just feels weird because they added all this stuff. I don't know what any of it does or how to craft any of it, so that's a bad frame rate. That was in like the teens for a little bit, but dips like that aren't too common. And I actually can't get out of here now because I apparently suck at controlling the game. So yeah, the frame rate's not great a lot of the time, and that's mostly because of our CPU. Just being a Pentium 4, I mean, it's still impressive that we can actually get frame rates anywhere near this high on a Pentium 4. But basically it for Minecraft. So now I imagine this video is getting kind of long. So I was going to show Star Wars Battlefront being played, but it runs pretty well. There's other games I've tried on here. They also run pretty well, or decently well. But one game we can try is Crysis. I do have Crysis on here. Wow, 600 FPS in Crysis. This computer's like epic. I wish. I wish. We ain't got a Core 2 Duo in this thing. And for those asking, you can't upgrade the CPU to a Core 2 Duo. 915 chipset does not support Pentium, or does not support Core 2 Duos. I'm not even sure if you could put a Pentium D in here. Would probably consume too much power. Let's go to the graphics. 1024 by 768. Probably a reasonable setting. Everything's set to low. I don't know why I clicked apply. It was already set that way. Single player. Did I save a game? Yes, okay. Gotta save. It's going to take a year to load. Because EA hard drive. Well, it's actually going faster than I thought. But yeah, it can run Crysis, kinda. I didn't try Crysis on the integrated graphics ever because I'm pretty sure it would have actually, like, just, like, instantly died. In fact, it might not have even ran. It might have just said, nope. Nope. You don't even try. Assign a key to continue. Be nice if we got 700 FPS and in the actual game, but as you can see, we're getting in the 50s, the 40s a lot of times. As you can see, it's part of our problem here is, I mean, our GPU is being utilized pretty heavily, but look at our CPU usage. Crysis is not a very heavily multi-threaded based game, and wow, that was a big stutter. It's not a very heavily multi-threaded game. So, like, even on modern systems, if you don't have that great of a CPU, it can actually cause your CPU to be pretty maxed out a lot of times. So it's not a great experience. I definitely wouldn't recommend... this as your main Crysis experience. Well, maybe I'd recommend it. Depends on how willing you are to... the frame rates you're willing to play at. Oh, there's a guy up there. And I'm dead. Yay. I suck at this game. Yes, I know. Why did it detach Why did it detach? Put on all the stuff, dude. Why would I not want all the stuff? How did that not kill him? What? What? How did that not kill? But yeah, in the 40s, and you know what? It's kind of playable. Well, pretty playable. Decently playable. Not amazing, you can definitely have a better Crysis experience, but for $12, I mean, certainly not bad. And when you consider that this is the hardware we started with, definitely isn't too bad. Oh my god, the tree is falling. They shot the tree. Or I shot the tree, and I didn't realize it. Do I have defense? Give me defense. Please. Help. Please, just help me. How do these North Koreans live so long? Like, what? How? How do I take? How do I take again? Is it R? No, R is reload. No, T is tactical. What? What do I do? F. It's F. I gotta pay F. Pay F to respects. Pay F to press respects. Take all the guns, please. So yeah, frame rate's pretty low here with these particle effects on this flare. Oh. Forgot I can hold stuff and shoot at the same time. That's cool. But yeah, Crysis actually runs, and it runs pretty decently, while still managing to look decent. I'm impressed. Maybe you're impressed. I don't know. I don't know your feelings. Don't know what happened to our wallpaper. Oh, there it is. But, yeah, this was just me kind of messing around, experimenting with this. I'm probably not going to use this system like a lot, because I do have my 2006 Sleeper, which has an 8800 GTX and a Core 2 Duo, so, like, obviously that's way better. But, all things considered, this is a pretty decent system. And, of course, if you can find a better small form factor system that maybe has a better power supply, has like a Core 2 Duo or something in it, and you know, a better power supply, you can fit a better graphics card in here. You probably get like a GT, maybe like a GT 630, or maybe even like a, I think there's a low profile version of the GTX 750, which if your power supply can handle it, that would blow away this system in terms of performance. You'd actually be able to crank Crysis up pretty high. So yeah, that's basically it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know if you want to see more of these kind of videos in the future, where we just kind of mess around installing random hardware and PCs, because I don't know what that error was. But yeah, just messing around with computers, and not trying to focus on just build videos, because those are getting kind of boring. They were taxing me, and they were just, I don't know, they were just getting boring, and I wasn't enjoying them as much anymore. So hope you guys enjoyed this. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.